He is a psychotherapist that uses mindfulness techniques. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Mindfulness techniques to help his clients. Please welcome Randall Sokoloff. How are you doing, Randall?
Doing well, thank you.
Such a pleasure to have you.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. So one breath at a time.
Yes.
So tell us what mindfulness is.
Mindfulness basically is a practice of being here, being present, being aware in the present moment rather than lost in the head.
So really we can only think one thought at a time, and is it really putting your mind in a phrase, in a place where we can reduce our anxiety and our stress?
Absolutely, yeah. I think right now anxiety is an epidemic in our society. So mindfulness is really a practice of kind of being here, whereas anxiety is a process of being in the future. So that's how mindfulness helps, if we can learn how to be here.
Okay, and what's one of the ways, first of all, I'm just completely enchanted by your voice. I don't know how anyone could not be, I mean, I'm completely calmed by the way you talk.
Oh, wow.
Yes. How do we get to that present? How, especially, I mean, like you were saying, it seems like it affects our society very in volumes at this point, especially for someone maybe the millennials out there. How would we live in the present? What would we focus on trying to do?
So right now,
Okay.
notice your breathing, moving in and back out through your nose, just for one cycle. Just be aware of your breath, moving in through your nose and back out. Notice your hands touching the table.
Yes.
So immediately when you do that, you're making a U-turn out of thought, and you're coming more here.
Okay.
Most of us are about 5 to 10% here. That's why we like to go on vacation, so we can be 50% here. But just by becoming aware of your breathing, noticing sensations in your body, you can become more here, more present.
So do you feel like people can reduce their medication, anxiety medication, and things that way when they do mindfulness?
Absolutely, yeah, I see it all the time.
What?
Let's see
Oh,
some
yes,
of these
yes,
things
yes,
that you
please.
brought too.
These are incredible drawings. I think one of, when you were saying some, notice my hands, all of a sudden I'm becoming aware of myself noticing my hands. So how do I get out of that thought and just focus on the hands? Is that a thing? What would you call that?
Yeah, well, it's right here. So what this says is we're so identified with thoughts that we don't know there are other options.
Yeah.
Most of us don't know there's another option. So we often look from our thoughts, not at them. The first thought creates the next thought. It becomes a self-referential loop, and it just goes on and on and on. That cultivates anxiety.
Right.
So
it's that monkey mind kind of thing.
Exactly, just hopping around all over the place.
Okay.
So the idea is to become aware of thought, not to see the world through thought.
Okay.
So we have the ability to be aware of thinking, sounds, breathing, sensations in our body simultaneously.
Okay.
Whereas most of us just see the world through thinking, which cuts off everything else.
And anxiety.
Anxiety,
you
exactly.
talk a lot about, and these are workshops that you offer then.
I do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so most people experience anxiety. Probably a lot of people in this room right now have anxiety to some degree, but we don't know what it is. That's the ironic thing about
Just
anxiety.
trying to yeah, it is interesting.
Do you know what anxiety is?
Are you asking me, do I know what my anxiety is? Sometimes I feel it. I don't know. But
Right, yeah, we feel it. But basically what it is, it's basically caused by the expectation of a future threat. Right? So anxiety is the expectation that there's a future threat up ahead. And we just can't stop thinking about it. But anxiety is an inaccurate way of perceiving being in the world, because right now, there is no threat.
Exactly.
So the threat is in the head.
Exactly.
And that's why it's problematic. It's inaccurately perceiving reality.
And there may be some issues, but I think it does help so much when you really stop to be in moment and think that you're not at risk, and we can refocus.
You're okay.
I look a lot with some of my clients with dementia too, and they can be refocused or redirected very easily with an immediate thought in another direction.
Yes.
Or a child, say, can be redirected, or even an adult, any adult. We can be redirected from the media so quickly too.
Yes.
How Yeah, and how do we get a hold of you? If
Yes.
we wanted to do one of your workshops.
You can go to my website at randallsokoloff.therapy.com. You can go check out One Breath at a Time Mindfulness Community online.
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for being
I
on
already
with us. I
feel
appreciate
eased by my future threat that marshals will not take my shoes
Yes.
back. This is great. Thank you so much, Randall. Up next, speaking of threats or perceived threats,
Little creepy
little
crawlies,
small
right?
bugs. Do they make you scream? Mary, what do you
Exactly.
think?
We have Doug is
Doug.
going to be on with us. Yes, Doug.
I feel the jitterbug coming on. The jitterbug from Doug. I don't know. Hopefully he never gets that nickname because of me. We're excited. Doug, entomologist, coming up.